sir. Take your mother.
Okay, here we go. Are you ready? Because it's coming at you hot. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Two Cool Moms. I'm Joe Gatto.
I'm Steve Byrne.
Oh, and we have a guest with us
We
today.
have a special guest.
That by accident.
But literally texting as I'm coming in.
Total accident.
Yeah, but from NSYNC. Chris Kirkpatricks here today.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Met you in Pittsburgh. We're both from Pittsburgh, and we initially met. Joe was saying, how do you guys meet? And I just thought it was a funny story how one week we're playing. One week you're doing this. You can explain. We're playing flag football with steel, and then the very next week.
Next week, softball, I break my hand, which was
Really?
We played flag football with Debo, Ben, Heinz Ward, Troy Polamalu, all the DBs
James
from
Harrison,
Pittsburgh,
Heinz Ward,
all these guys,
Hall of Famers,
and him and I and Pat Monahan, we were put on the Generals, right? They had their own team that they selected.
Yeah.
That were their team, but they did give us Coach Tomlin. But he kept calling us the Generals. I'm like, we can hear you. Like, you're saying that out loud, right? Like,
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And we had a bunch of YouTubers, and we just kept pretending like there weren't enough flags to go around. So we're like, oh, no, he's going in. No flags. Can't go in the game.
That's a great way to get around flag football. I mean, I got no flag.
Yeah, no
we
flags.
literally were the flag on the play.
Yeah. I could make a touchdown right now because you can't tackle me. I'm intackleable.
Yeah. So then a week later,
So a week later, I'm literally watching. I'm at Jimmy Kimmel's. Okay, they have this huge screen at Jimmy Kimmel's, and you can watch all the games and stuff. So there, for some reason, TMZ's on, and they show Chris at a charity softball event in Nashville, and he goes crashing to home plate, right?
No, I was home plate.
You were home plate. Oh, okay. You were home plate. That's right. Okay, yeah.
I was catching. I think, I've been telling it. I actually just got the cast off, but I think this guy he was really, really sweet guy, really nice guy. Looper, right? Looper, I think his name was. Really nice guy. We were talking beforehand, but I was playing catcher because I thought this is fun. I know most of my friends were actually on the other team,
right.
So I just wanted to talk smack the whole time to all of them.
Great, yeah.
So I'm like, what better place than the catcher than to talk smack? So I'm sitting there talking smack, and I think our team was winning like 15-3 or something like that. Yeah. And there was a play coming in, and I saw this guy running. I'm like, oh, he's not an athlete. Like I can see him rounding third. This is not his thing. So I see where home plate is, and I took like 2 steps behind home plate. Like even if there's a play, he's gonna slide way up there. We're gonna be fine. And I saw the pitcher going to get the ball, like we're gonna make a play. And I don't know how long it took, but in my head, it was a really long time because I had a conversation with the pitcher in my head going, you know what? 15-2. I think we're good. This guy getting in. Let's just. I'm not wearing equipment. None of us are really athletes, so to speak. Let's just let him have this. But no, he goes to make a play, and I catch the ball. And I think when I went to brace myself, I just, I was like awkwardly because I saw it, and it wasn't like a big smash.
Yeah.
It was just like I get up and I'm acting like I was okay.
There's really getting hurt by falling wrong.
Yeah,
you got hurt by falling wrong.
That's what happens at our age.
Yeah, I know.
It's like you get to this age and it's not anymore. It's like that curb is a lot higher than it used to be. I got to make sure you're consciously thinking about stepping off of curbs now, which sucks.
I sit down to put my socks on.
Yeah. Oh, well.
You got to sit down and you got to exhale.
Up. And then you got to prepare yourself to get up. Yeah.
Or anything with your shoes. Anytime you're down there and you're like, or make the noises.
I yell at my kid to tie his own shoes. I'm like, when he was like 4, I'm like, tie your own shoes. Don't you know how to tie your shoes? He's like, I don't. I'm like, I can't get up. But you want me to live down here? Like, you go to school barefoot. I don't care.
I hate that we become parents too. That's the worst part. It's like, all the things you're saying to your kids now, you're always like, oh, I'm talking like my dad used to talk.
I got my wife yesterday because my son said something, and my daughter said something to her, and she snapped back, and my daughter goes, "Mom, I'm scared. Mom, sometimes I'm scared of you." And my wife went, "You should be." And I went, "Oh my God, did you just hear yourself?" We hysterically laughed all of us together. It was so funny. But that is like such a mom saying or dad saying. You catch them all the time now.
Yeah, wait till your father gets home. That was our old timers one, right?
Yeah.
No, I was afraid of my mom growing up.
Really?
more afraid of
I
your
only
mom?
had my mom, so
So you waited a long time.
Yeah, so it was I waited 30 years, and I'm like, I don't think this is happening.
Mom, you're full of shit, Mom.
When your father gets home, I'd love to meet him.
Yeah.
Tell me about
bringing
he starts
Christmas.
calling-
He was
Which
making
one?
Christmas gifts.
18 Christmas
He starts
gifts.
breaking vases on purpose. Like, maybe there's a woman. Maybe Papa will come home.
Yeah, this is how I'm going to find out who my dad really is.
Oh, it's so
But she was like the old, too. She was, well, I probably don't want to call her out, but, that was a time when we got hit.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
talk about it
Like,
all the time, yeah.
Yeah, my sisters were stupid and decided that they needed to take up the baton.
Oh,
So we had a
baton
lot of
arsenal.
batons laying
Yeah.
around the house, and me being the oldest and the only boy.
Yeah.
I was like, to this day, I see baton twirlers, and like,
Every
Flashback.
parade he walks by.
every parade, I've got a helmet
All the
on.
kids are happy, and he's the only one crying.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. No, I'm scared to death. So what year was that you guys met? That was
We just met like 2 months ago.
2 months ago, yeah, and again,
Oh, so
just
that was then.
going to Nashville and then meeting him, and then maybe like 2 weeks later, I had my show at Zany's, and I invited you to
And
come
You
down.
had the big cast on, and
Yeah, the cast.
Okay, can we talk about this? Because
Yeah.
we really haven't seen each other. First of all, the Red Clay Strays, I
Unbelievable.
adore.
Yeah.
I
That's the
adore
band
it. It's
that
a
was in
band,
it?
yeah.
Yeah.
The band that was there. They're doing their album release in Nashville. I don't know if you're going.
I got a text. I think I'm out of town, but these guys, incredibly gifted, like really stripped down roots kind of country music. but-
Alabama.
yeah, out of Mobile, Alabama.
okay.
Big comedy fans. It's so funny because then they saw.
Oh, and they came to your show.
They came to my show, and then
okay.
they met
They were
Kreischer.
desperate.
Then
They
they,
went to the wrong place. So they're like,
then they did Kreischer's podcast after that.
They thought they were
okay.
performing.
we love comedy. Who's this guy?
It's Zanies.
Gotcha.
But then, but we hung out that night, and it was a great night. It was one of those nights where everything came together, right?
Yeah.
Clay Strays come down, Bert Kreischer's
Well, I don't know
in
about
town.
everything came together.
Well,
I mean, first of all,
my bar bill came together.
Yeah, first of all, he comes up. He's like, "Man, I do this bit. If we could do it," and I don't want to tell all your bits on
please,
there,
yeah.
but it's horrible. And it's like, no, I'm kidding. It was like the "I'm gonna love you forever" thing. I'm like, all right, that's hilarious, and it worked, and it was funny. And then I'd known through a mutual friend of ours that you did the boy band thing
Right.
at the end, and I'm like, oh, this is where it's going to be really funny. So what I was thinking was, I'm going to be here with him, and we're going to call some people up, and he's going to be asking me like even jokes to tell him, oh no, I'm one of those people.
Oh, he made you one of the guys?
I saw your face turn from, hey, this is my buddy, to, hey, this is a random audience member who is up here, and your
Is that
name
how
is
you-
going
oh,
to be
man.
so, oh, I saw it. It just dropped. All the knowledge, all the friendship just left your face,
Dissipated,
and I
yeah.
became stranger mode. And he's like, so here's what we're going to do. And I'm looking around like, you're going to die after this. And that wasn't even the worst part. The worst part
there's
was we
more.
do all this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that's cool. My wife's there. She was sitting with your wife. I'm like, this would be great. Let me go back and sit down. You're like, no. Stay here. Stay up here. And I love, some of my best friends are comedians.
Yeah.
Comedy, you guys are amazing. Like, I love comics. I love hanging out with comics. It's just, they're always fun. You can always joke around. You can always be yourself, whatever. And he's stay here.
But
So I'm
he did a great job selling my merch.
I did a great job. Great
He
job.
was signing your merch.
Making it valuable.
Yeah, can I get this autograph? No, I want to be able to sell it on eBay. Thank you.
Sorry, not to interrupt.
Yeah, but
please
no,
go.
well, it doesn't matter, because I was thinking when you just asked how long we known each other, at that point it had been, 4 weeks?
Literally 4
Maybe
weeks,
4
yeah.
weeks.
Yeah.
And he's standing there and he goes, hold on, I have some friends of mine coming in. And I
Oh,
looked around
yes.
and, it was normal night at Zany's. The balcony, nobody was even in the balcony. It was, one of your normal shows. But he calls
Sitting
in.
room only.
Chris Kirkpatrick
row.
for the win. I like
Front
it. I
row
like
only.
it.
Sitting room only.
Front
show.
row only.
Plenty of tickets available.
And then in walks Bert and Nate Bergazzi and
Joe DeRosa.
Joe DeRosa.
DeRosa too?
Yeah,
Oh,
Joe.
Joe DeRosa.
Joe.
Yeah.
And the four of them just start going.
Oh, yeah.
And they're telling old stories. Remember when you were drunk, Steve, and you were in the house for 2 days? And I'm thinking up there like, I have zero stories about any human on this stage right now. I don't even know why. I'm like, I don't know the other three. I met Steve a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And you're all like old buddies, old professional buddies who do this for a living. And I'm standing there and my wife goes, I felt so bad for you.
Oh God, I'm so
She goes,
sorry.
you just looked out of place.
Like a deer that wandered onto the highway.
I'm like, I thought I held my own a little bit. I tried to throw
I thought
some...
you were great though, and then Byrne had asked you a question. I think I had asked you a question because literally all of us are on stage, but he's the most successful one of all of us.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, for sure. I mean, going back, how many years now? I mean, 15, 20 years? It's just...
No, 30. Like way more than
30,
that.
really?
Yeah.
It's been 20 years since we've done anything together, so it was...
Wow, that's crazy. It's so funny because even when I go through Times Square to this day...
Panhandling.
Flipping your guitar case
to
open.
Hey guys,
balcony seats
You guys
to
ain't know
babies.
how to play a ukulele.
But even now, when I go through Times Square, my 20s, my core like New York memory years.
Oh, TRL?
TRL.
Yeah.
And every time I go through Times Square, even today, I was telling my kids, I go, you guys have no idea. Like MTV was right there. It was the biggest thing in the world. And I remember the day, because I lived in Hell's Kitchen. And I remember the day you guys broke like a record or something for most people. Like they shut down Times Square because you guys showed up. It was like your second album or something like that.
It was crazy.
That's got to be. You shut down Times Square.
Yeah.
Well, and
You're
you
the
know,
COVID of boy bands.
wear a mask and social distance. There's actually been some shows. I'm doing that Pop 2000 show. There's actually been some shows that we've done where I go out and there's like 600 people or something like that. I'm like, we should tell them COVID's big here so they space out. It'll look a lot more packed.
Look at this. Wow.
Look at all the people here.
It's a sea of
They're
people.
3 feet apart, but don't worry about that. But yeah, it was crazy.
You and I go back further than 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So him and I don't know if you remember in 2003
Already I don't.
in Red Bank, New Jersey. You did a little
Okay, hold
cameo
on a
for
second.
A movie.
I thought it was Sal.
It was called Paquito Bandito is Dead. Sal and Q wrote a script. We're filming it. I was living in LA. Their director dropped out at the last minute. They had you booked. They flew me in from LA to direct it.
Yeah.
And I directed you in the final scene.
Yeah, what happened to that?
That is gone forever. It was horrendous.
Well, actually, the actress that you had, one of the actresses in that, was a producer buddy of mine's wife.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, hey, you're in Jersey, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. He goes, do you want to come out and do this movie? And I was like, yeah. I mean, sure.
So the movie ends with the
Here's the
idea.
thing:
of
if you want Chris Kirkpatrick, just text him.
Yeah, just text me. I'll be
He'll come
here.
by.
Something's
That's how
happening,
he'll
and
by.
he'll be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is my life.
It was. I didn't know anything about it because they literally called me and I booked the flight the next day. They sent me the script. They said, "Here's the script. Could you direct it?" And they're like, "We have the place booked. We'll be out thousands of dollars. Could you do it?" And I was like, "Sure, I'll figure it out." So on the plane, I broke down the script. I got there. We did it. And then I remember the last scene. It was like the whole idea was like Sal and Q were on a date next to each other. And Sal, I think Sal was on a date with Left, and Q was the crazy ex-boyfriend, like spying on her as they went.
Crazy.
And then he
and
comes
then
in.
I come in as her
and-
blind date or something like
as a
that. And I'm
blind
like,
date, yeah.
those things real?
He had one line. I think that was it,
That was my
actually.
line.
Yeah.
Are those things real?
And I was like, and credits, Paquito Bandito's dead. Yeah.
They were like,
That was
what a great, that's up for an Emmy right there. Like that got an Oscar.
There you go.
Those things real?
So many people to thank.
I know.
Yeah, thank you guys.
I'd like to thank her
This is
breasts.
TRL. Yes, please. So
That's crazy. That is before you guys were anything.
Yeah.
And you
2003.
still did that. That's nuts.
Yeah. He was. That was it. We did that.
And then they
I
go and
haven't
get
seen you since.
Joey. They get Joey to do all their stuff for him instead of me. I'm like, Joey's like, and we actually, the funny thing is Joey and I are really close, and we do a lot of shows together, and wherever we are, it's always like he'll call me, hey, can you come in and do a couple songs? I'm like, yeah, can you come in and do a couple songs, whatever. So we always do a lot of stuff together. And a few years ago, I did Celebrity Big Brother. And I walk around, and now it's like really weird because I have people coming up to me all the time, like, I don't really know about the band, but I saw you on
Really?
Celebrity Big Brother.
Really?
Like it's got that kind of following.
Wow.
So now when Joey and I are together, we both joke, if we're doing like a Comic-Con or whatever it is, we're like, who's going to have more, me from Celebrity Big Brother or you from the Jokers? Because, I mean, when I'm with him, people don't even, they're like, I don't know either one of you guys, but that guy's on the Jokers, and it's like crazy because he's got a new claim to fame now, which he, now you can't look him in the eye, and he has certain flavored M&Ms in the dressing room.
It's horrendous. Well, we did that. We did the show, then the after party show. It was the interview show, and we would always just do the episodes together. We split it up, or it was always two of us, because when we did one where it was all of us, and it was just too tough. It's too many people talking. So like, you know what? Let's just bang it out in a different way. We'll pair up and do stuff, whatever. So every time we were like, he'd be going over the scripts and stuff in the back and whatever, and I'd be like, we're not going to say any of this. Like, what are you talking about? Like, we're not going to do any of this. I was like, we're just going to get going and start talking. But so by like the second season, it was like, okay, just what do I just throw to this?
He's like one of you guys, though. He really is. He's that New York guy that is just like, he fits into what you guys do.
Well, he literally got thrown into the fire the first time he came to visit set. Q was just like,
oh, did he do a diner thing?
Yeah,
or
he said,
something?
let him do my turn. He was just coming as a visitor, and Q was like,
oh really?
They just make him do my turn or whatever, and he just went in and did it.
We did Mark's Jiggies, Taste Funny, and we were just hanging out backstage. I said about the boy band, do you want to jump up and do the thing? He's like, yeah, great. And I go,
did you look at him like you didn't know him too?
I had him stay on stage when Seinfeld and Chappelle came by, and we all just chopped it up.
They're not doing Taste Funny.
But then I was like, oh, well, let's do like a little Q&A with the audience. He's like, okay, great. And he has just great timing. He was awesome. And it was one of those things
he loves to talk about himself.
There's a handful of
so
people.
you do know Joey. And it usually goes into the
people start leaving.
Yeah, well, not like that. I'm saying more like the sex talk or whatever. Joey's been known to throw that stuff out.
Oh, really?
Which is wait, what? What Joey do you know?
Joey and I never had a sex talk together.
Okay,
he's like, well, when a man loves a woman.
No, sorry to interrupt your story real quick,
no.
but the funny thing is, like with him. And this has happened to me on more than one occasion, and I can't figure it out. I always feel like I've got pretty good. I think I'm funny, but everybody probably thinks they're funny, and that's why they do what they do. But so I think I'm funny, and I do things, and then I hear Joey walk up, and Joey just says something. I'm like, how have you not been canceled? Like, how do you walk up to a woman and sometimes just throw out what you throw out? And they're like, oh, he's so endearing, he's so funny, and all this stuff like that. So I'm thinking, I've got way better timing than Joey. I can do this. And I walk up and say it. And I become the creepiest person in the room. Like, it's suddenly like, oh my God.
It's like you're standing on stage at Zany's all over again.
Yeah. And normally Joey's just looking at me going,
yeah. So where are you from?
Can I say this real quick? I got a great friend named Michael Connell, just because of this story. Michael Connell is this Chicago comic, best friends with Ken Jeong. They went to Tulane together, okay? And they did this viral video together. And that's how, anyways. So Michael Connell talks in a Shakespearean accent. For some reason, he's like, hello, how are you? It's a pleasure to meet thee. Like, it's really weird. So we do this show together, and he's great. He's a very talented guy. He performs barefoot. He's like an Andy Kaufman type of comic, right? So we do the show, and Liv Tyler, who is stunning, comes with her aunt, who is
Steven Tyler's daughter?
Steven Tyler's daughter. Like Lord of the Rings, whatever.
That was sarcasm.
She's...
I know it is.
Sorry.
Great timing.
But gorgeous. And her aunt's there, and she's, probably in her 50s at the time or whatever, but she was like a really well put together young lady. So we meet them after the show. I go, Mike, this is Liv, and she goes, oh, this is my Aunt Carol. And Mike goes, ladies? And he looks at Liv Tyler, he goes, Miss Tyler? And he goes to the aunt, he goes, young lady, I would love to pull you into an alley and perform cunnilingus on you. And I was like, what the fuck did you just say to Aunt
Carol?
I was like, the fuck? I mean, I just met Liv Tyler. Just met her. And this is the first impression. This is my good friend Mike O'Connell.
What was the fallout? Did they laugh?
Did they go to the alley?
It was...
I want to hear the story.
I'll be back.
Literally, my jaw dropped.
Oh, my goodness.
And then the aunt was dying laughing.
Yeah.
Dying laughing. Because, again, it's so... I think sometimes it's so outrageous.
Yeah.
It's like, who would ever...
But that's what you think until you try it.
Right.
That's right,
Like, I always think I could be really outrageous right now.
I think it's with anything, though. It doesn't have to be that, but just when something doesn't land, the way you wanted it to be. It doesn't necessarily have to be that kind of thing in nature, but just sometimes because when a room goes quiet after you're the last to speak on a joke, there's no worse feeling than that. We've all been there where we're like, ha, right,
but I think the worst feeling to that is if you went there with a joke. If you just do a normal joke and it bombs, you're just like,
Well, I would say that too, but like even something with slight racism or something, you know what I mean? Just something that has it's a little off or has some edge to it. I think that's where it's like, oh man, that's good.
You see people start talking.
Yeah. Now, you have a podcast, though, right now with Brian back in Nashville. Do you want to tell us about it?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to get you guys on it is what I want to do. We're
100%.
actually...
when you're in Nashville.
Yeah, when you come to Nashville.
Yeah, I'm busy.
I'm working with Joey and we can't
do it.
We do this one called Name Drop, and it's a lot of fun. Like, it's
Name Drop?
Yeah, Name Drop. And all we do is we bring a bell, and it's me and Brian McFadden, who used to be one of the MTV VJs on those days of TRL and stuff. And, you know, we've had some great guests, and he starts in with just the normal, hey, how are you doing? This is all about, you know, your life. We talk about them a little bit, and then we just want to hear stories. Then it's just like, tell us stories that when you're out promoting stuff, you don't normally hear. Because, you know, you guys,
of course.
you do the circuit and you're like, oh man, I just ran into so-and-so, but I'm here talking about the new X-Men movie or, you know, whatever. Not that you guys would be an X-Men, but, you know, it's
They don't have a fat guy? They don't have a fat man?
But, you know,
Captain Cannoli?
Captain Cannoli.
Dun, dun, dun. Captain Cannoli and Jameson.
And your punchline, that was a great shot.
Holy cannoli! That was a great shot.
Holy cannoli! That was a great shot.
Oh my God, that's a great line.
Yeah, but yeah, that's basically
it's perfect because it's an excuse to actually.
Name drop.
Normally you're inhibited to not. I shouldn't say this or whatever, but that's the one spot, and I thought that was such a great idea for a podcast.
That opens the door in a different way.
You're encouraged to do it.
Yeah, you're encouraged, and you guys know, being in the business, it's like you're talking to some of your friends sometimes. And you feel like a heel because you're like, oh my God, I'm name dropping Joey Fatone. You know, not that I would do that, but you know, it's like one of those things that you're like, do I? And I've done it like, and being a parent now, it's even more crazy because now you're dealing with your kids'
parents.
Parents.
At the birthday parties.
Yeah, at the birthday parties, talking to them, and they're telling stories, and you're
Bob
like
from The Office, and you're like,
and you're like Bob Barker. So it's like,
you know, tell you stories about Bob from The Office, and I'm like,
no one else here knows The Mandalorian. Check, please.
Pshaw.
Do you validate?
I'll be in the alley.
Well, and then you may, Jiggy, how do you know, don't you guys have a connection here?
Well, I used to do like a charity event for Team Gomez in the fall. So I used to do like
I knew I recognized you.
I used to like bomb at the comedy at the pairings party the night before the golf event, which was always set up for like the worst environment for stand up. They'd be like the prime ribs out, and then I'd go
here's
out there.
Mark.
Sponsored by Tito's. Let's go. You're up.
Just like eat shit.
Yeah.
But the golf was where it was always fun. But I went to college in Orlando, so
Where at?
Rollins College.
Oh, I actually transferred over to the night school at Rollins.
Oh, nice. There
I
we
couldn't
go.
afford you used to have a night school, Hamilton Holt.
Yeah.
But I went to Hamilton Holt. So when I said Valencia, you knew what I was talking about.
Yeah, Valencia.
Yeah,
that's the community college.
That's it.
Well, the backbone of this show is really, Joe and I always got incredible maternal advice. Before we dip into it here with Mark, what are some thoughts the minute we bring up, like when you think of your mom?
Yeah, your mom.
And your
how's your mom
upbringing,
like?
what are just
Is
some...
she dead or alive?
She's alive.
Okay, that makes two of the two of you.
She's
Mine's
alive.
dead.
Oh.
Thanks for bringing it up.
We did have a scare though.
Did you?
Yeah, we
Got
just
through
had
it,
a
though.
scare. She got a pacemaker put in a few weeks ago, and she's been, single.
Now she's got to be pulled out of those security lines.
Yeah,
that's annoying.
Yeah, I don't fly with her anymore.
Yeah. Looper ran into her.
I had to put a pacemaker in.
Became Blooper.
She was playing shortstop.
Blooper.
The blooper reel. That seems like the villain that we're fighting, Captain Cannoli and Jameson. I can
Stay away from Blooper.
Blooper's at it again.
He's unathletic. So she's okay now. But what are like?
Besides for the batons and
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
And she, it was. I have 4 sisters, and I'm the oldest, and she was 16 when I was born. So we kind of grew up a little bit together, and we spent a lot of times struggling very badly in trailer parks or welfare or whatever it was. So, but really, really strong person, like, you know, she had to play the father and mother. My dad, I still talk to my dad. He was parent, I think. Weird. He was in the Peace Corps. You know, he traveled a lot.
Oh, wow.
So he was kind of hippie-ish and did his thing, which was awesome. And now we have a relationship again with now that I have my son. But yeah, my mom has always been that solid person. So to see things that happen to them now, you're like, oh, yeah, you know, Mom, why do I have to walk you onto the plane? I'm like, you're mom. Wow, like, you're the one that.
Right.
Do you have any batons on you or anything?
Of course. You'll be all right.
Security check, you're going to be okay.
Did you, if you were like, if like you had, would you say that your mother was somebody you would seek advice from? Like when you were like getting out and stuff?
I think it was almost deeper than that. Like it wasn't even advice. It was like everything I knew was because of my mom. Like everything I believed. You know, I grew up now and I think about some of the things that I used to think as a kid, and I was like,
Earth's flat.
Man.
My mom said the Earth's flat, guys. It's flat.
The Backstreet Boys don't have great music. You know, it's like, no, she, you know, she was very, very hippie, liberal, you know, that type of deal. And I'm more middle of the road, and it was weird to hear her takes on certain things. Like I remember one in particular about golf courses and how poor, you know, they're horrible things for I'm like, they're actually good for the environment, and you know, I'm a member now. Come up and, you know, so there's a lot. I don't think it was advice as much as it was just like everything I learned about life came through her, you know.
So for her to see your success had to be super sweet then too.
Oh,
right? Because like she saw you down and out.
Yeah,
right?
it was amazing.
That's great.
It was amazing. The whole family too. You know, all that side of the family. There's all musicians, and of course there was the first part. Oh, he's never gonna make it. Yeah, he doesn't have the talent that cousin Joey does, or whoever. You know. But then it was, can we get tickets to the show?
So you're playing the arena?
Whatever the big whirly dome is in the place, that's what we're playing.
How do you say this? Stadium?
What was the first thing you, like as you're attaining success and you finally get like a foothold, you're like, I think I'm going to be good. What was like that first thing you did for your mom?
Oh, I bought her a house.
Oh, that's great.
Unbelievable.
I bought her a house, and like it almost made me cry because I had it all. I went and looked at the houses. She's still in the house today. I went and looked at houses, and then I went and bought a welcome mat, and I taped a picture of the house underneath the welcome mat.
No way.
Yeah, and
That's
I had
great.
her open the big package, and it's a welcome mat. And my mom's like, well, you know, this is gonna go good in my apartment or whatever. And I'm like, hey, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. So yeah, that was.
Oh,
That's
dude,
great.
what a
That
great.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
And I bought all my sisters a car, their first car. So
Oh, that's great.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it was hard sledding. It was, and especially it's crazy because I didn't grow up in a big city. You know, I grew up in a farm town in farm towns in Pennsylvania and Ohio, and it's always hard to describe to people because, you know, we lived in trailer parks there. We had one trailer had a hole in the side, and when it snowed, we'd pile up the laundry so the snow didn't come into the trailer. You know, we had no money. And when you're country poor, it's different than city poor. City poor, you go to school and you get free lunches. Well, you and about 80 of your buddies are all hanging out with your free lunches going, what did you get today? You know, your country poor is just you.
Yeah.
And they hand you those brown tickets instead of the red tickets, and you got to go through. I didn't eat. You know, I was like playing in the gym. I'm like, it's too embarrassing. So yeah, so she really was like the matriarch.
And to have a child at 16, you think back like your father's in the Peace Corps. Just I don't know the backstory, but obviously it's so easy for us to go. It was a different time.
Yeah,
it really was a different time though. But still, to be 16 years old, to have not a penny in your pocket, and bring up four kids,
5 total,
5 kids,
5 of us.
No.
My God, can you imagine being 16 and I can't even wrap my head around that.
So I can't even imagine if I could tie my shoes when I was 16. You know, that was like
I wasn't helping him. I wouldn't get up.
16. I mean, even in college, you know, I remember, you know, certain scares. If you had a girlfriend or something, she's like, I think I'm pregnant. You're like, no, I don't know what I'm doing. How do I deal with what is going to happen to my world? You know, this is crazy.
Over, right?
I waited till I was old
to
have kids. I know what I'm doing now.
When did you have your first kid?
So he's 6.
Oh,
so
okay.
6.
Yeah.
12 years ago. I'm good with math too. I went to Valencia.
So he's 6, so you have one.
I just have one. Yeah.
Well, we can't thank you enough for being here.
Us,
this is the part of the show
Let's
where
get part of
we
the fun.
get maternal and channel our moms and give some advice. Mark, you're going to walk us through here?
Yeah, I got our first question come from Scotty B on the email.
Scotty B.
Scotty B.
The email, we should plug the email. The email is twocoolmomspod@gmail.com. You want to give us your queries and dilemmas? We'd love
Queries
to
and dilemmas. I thought we'd go with one from entertainment first, since we have Chris here. So this was, hey mom, so you guys have bodyguards when you're performing. Has anyone ever tried to jump on stage, and how did you handle it?
Oh, I mean, I think he's probably gonna have the worst part. It's like, they rushed Zanies.
I was selling merch out of my trunk at the side door in Zanies.
I never had to kick throat a 12-year-old girl in the throat. So I don't know. I mean, I imagine it's got to be, especially at peak. You guys are just getting hounded every opportunity. You just got to be girls pounding on the door everywhere.
I'd like to tweak that a little bit for you. Like, when was the first time you realized you needed security?
So we actually started in Europe. So we went over to Europe, and that's where we, got our feet wet. Mm-hmm. The first time we went over there, I remember we didn't have security, and we were we just signed with this German record label. We were at this show, and they're like, "Yeah, get up, do a song." And I don't know if that was German. I probably just
kind of sounded Japanese.
Yeah, well, everything sounds Japanese to you, but it was like really one of the. I'm horrible with accents. But they're like, go sing, do what you do. We're like, all right, we got a couple a cappella songs, and we're done doing the a cappella songs. And there were girls everywhere screaming, and the record label people are like pushing them away, and they've got like Orlando Magic jerseys and all this. And we're like, they know us. They were from Orlando. This is so crazy. They're like, how'd you guys know us? They're like, no, the Backstreet Boys are over here. That's why. I was like, whatever. But there's been a lot of, one of the biggest scares I remember, because we always had security every time. Yeah. In those days, it was really crazy. You couldn't go to malls anymore or anything. Like, out the back. I went to electronics boutique one time, and I had to go out there. I was buying Dreamcasts for all my security guys. I love that. That's how long ago it was. But I had to go out the back door. But there was one time we were doing a show in Atlanta, and I remember this. And a mom had ended up calling and turning her own son into the police, because he had a detailed map of where security was, everything, and a gun, like a revolver, and was going to come in and kill us during that show. So that was the first time that it ever really hit, like, wow, we suck that bad.
Yeah,
like, it's
like,
out of the world. I'm like, at least go get Justin or something. Like, he's the cute one.
Just in the
what
back.
am I? What are you? What am I threatening you with?
I'm just an electronics boutique, guys.
Yeah. I'll get you a Dreamcast if you need it. Mom made me carry around batons.
I did the difference, I think, with the fame that I have, that you have, is that I was.
Excuse me, guys. I'll just leave.
Yeah, if you could just stand there with a microphone. I've got Bert and Nate coming in too. It's going to be great.
Yeah. I think that the thing, too, is that, you're different than this. That's why I said that. You played a character on TV. You played Steve, but like, I was myself, and you were yourself in a band. Like, we were always compared to actually a band more than a comedy troupe.
Right.
Because we were ourselves.
Right.
We weren't playing characters.
Yeah,
on
that's
TV,
true. That's so true.
So people felt like there's a familiarity to you. Like, when people would walk up to you,
they know you.
Get over here, you fat bastard. Let's get a picture.
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Which is different. People had a quick level of that. With you, they have to place you. You know what I mean? They have to be like, oh, that's the guy. Oh, he's from that show. Something. He plays Steve, like that, even though your name was Steve.
Well, it's, I think still just comedy. My kids, we'll go out to the mall, and there's always somebody that says something, but it's always, I always tell my kids, I'm familiar. I'm not famous. That's a great place to be, because it's always, how do I know you?
Yeah.
And then that's where.
Is that why you always wear your driver's license on your shirts?
Yes. Credits are on the back. You might know me from.
Your IMDb.
Yeah, like,
please don't recognize me. Yeah.
He's wearing sunglasses on purpose.
You know what's funny though is when after we met, I came back and I'm like, and of course Josh. First of all, it's so weird that I was making fun of you for getting William Hung out there to replace me, because Josh texts me, "Are you getting Steve to replace me doing the zany stuff?"
Oh, okay,
and doing all that. But talking to him, it's just always it's crazy that I met you, and I felt like we'd been old friends, and I told my friends, and they all went nuts. You know, they
that's
all were
nice.
like, "Oh my God, dude, I know him." And my one friend, Kevin Little, I don't know if you know who Kevin Little. He lives in Orlando. You know Kevin, right? So that's probably how you guys have met, because Kevin was talking about you, and when I told him I knew you, I think we'd text you. We were in the backyard or something. We were texting you. He was up. But yeah, it's cool because, you know, with us, it is us. But and now with you, it's you though too.
Yeah.
You know, you're with
People know you from comedy.
Yeah, people know you from comedy, and I can't imagine being a comedian and the stuff that you guys do, like how hard that schedule is, and hearing the stories. Oh, they got to do they want me in for a tough 10, or what do you call it?
A tight 10.
A tight 10, a tight 10, a tight 15, whatever. It
Sometimes
is.
it's tough to do a tight 10.
Sometimes it's tough to say tight 10.
When did you? This is. I just want to ask you, because when you're singing a cappella, when was the first time you heard you guys collectively together and you just thought, "Holy shit! Like this is, we got something here. Like this is really good."
I loved a cappella groups. Like I grew up on a cappella music. I was always a big fan of harmonies and
Shaboom,
shaboom. Yep, I sang it. I sang doo-wop at Universal Studios.
Oh, really?
Yep, they were called the Hollywood High Tones. So I also did Christmas carols with a cappella group. So when Christmas comes around, I know every word to every Christmas song, all these old 50s and 60s songs. So I always liked that kind of music. So I was put in choir in high school and college. I'd be putting these bands together. And then when this guy Lou came and was like, "I'll put money behind it," I'm like, this is my thing. And so many, I mean, I tried to make it happen for a couple years before, you know, Justin and JC were even in the band. And then when we got Joey, it was still a couple more years, I think, till we got Lance.
Really?
So, but we all, you know, I think the first time we sat down, and it's crazy how weird you run into a stairwell or somebody's bathroom at a hotel where there's good acoustics and you have that good reverb and you do harmonies, and it's just, you know,
Everybody thinks they're going off to do coke.
Yeah.
It's like, let's go to the stairwell. It's like these guys party.
Guys, let's go to the stairwell. We're going to party. Get shit.
Let's do a line of doo-wop.
Guys, I'm so high off this wop.
It's cool, dude. I just had an 8-ball of wop.
Yeah, man, it's great. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a great show.
One more.
All right, Jig, what do you got next for us, buddy?
I hope that helped. I hope that helped answer your
All you
question.
budding singers out there, lines of doo-wop.
Ursula on email. Hit
Ursula?
Us up. No, it's with the Y. Ursula?
Okay,
I don't
Ursula.
know. She hit us up on the email.
Sherry.
She's got a question about college. She's afraid about going to college because of taking out loans, and they tend to build up. And she doesn't want to be burdened with a large sum of debt and taking out that much money, and she doesn't want to be overwhelmed and feel burdened by paying back her mom. What is your thought on this significant amount of a loan and going to college in general? What should I do?
I still think college serves its purpose, but I don't think you got to pay to play, and you shouldn't put yourself out too bad, because you'll get the same what you'll get away from college. We spoke about this before. I think the social aspect, and you grow up and you're able to solve problems on your own, not being in your parents' house or face your own challenges, get in charge of your own schedule. All that stuff helps you in life, not necessarily the curriculum. So wherever you could get that experience for the best price would be my advice. I wouldn't go out taking out $100,000 loans to go to a better school. I mean, because, you know, like we talked about off air before, I have an accounting degree. You know, we all went to college for different things, and you don't necessarily end up where you start.
How often do you use that accounting degree in what you do?
No, I mean, I'm good with math, and I use math. That's it. I mean, that's right. But I don't even bounce my own checkbook.
The crap stable.
Craps table, I use the numbers.
There's apps for that now.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think college it was a great experience, but you know, I had friends, I got to get into Notre Dame. I got to get into Michigan. And then they ended up going to like West Virginia, and they still had just as good of a time. But it really, I think really, it's more about that independence. It's about all the social interaction and the friends I had in college, I still have to this day. So it was a great experience, but I went to Kent State. By no means is it like a premier school by any, but I go back, I'm like, pretty nice. And it was very affordable. I mean, it was like, I think it was like $8,000 a year. Wow. When I was going, or
so you're saying forget the education, find the best party school, and that's where you need to stick to.
Yeah.
Got to make some friends. You got to make some relationships.
That's right. Yeah.
I would say if you're already worried about being in the hole and owing your mom money, like don't start. You're going to start college that way. You're going to be regretting it from day one. That's going to be tough. So I think you should try to, if you're going to do it, find a way that you're okay with entering that part of your life, because you're just going to be dragging around being like already under the weight of this
But it's like
responsibility.
there's the business of colleges nowadays where they're offering like high-rise apartments and everything that's on the campus, and so you're paying for a lot of the, the bullshit that you don't need. That's not really part of the curriculum of the education process itself. So be wary of that. And I think when you're choosing a school, it's like, if you really know what you're focused on, if like X school specializes in Y, 100% go for it. You're passionate about it. Why not? But for the most part, I think college really is about the experience. And I mean, half the people I know, I'd say more than half, don't even do anything affiliated or associated with their degree. So
our generation for sure.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, we were probably the generation that, back as my son calls them, the olden people days. Those days, the college education meant something, and you're like, oh, they went there, they went there. But there's so many careers now where, you have to know what you want to do first.
Yes.
Like you were saying, if you know what specialized thing you want to get into, maybe there's alternative things now that you can go through. There's so many, even the tech colleges, even the little things where you're getting that experience. Maybe I'm in a weird business, but I know in our business a lot of times it's not, oh yeah, we need a new guy for this video. Where did you go to college? It's
right,
like,
exactly.
How much experience do you have, or how much, and it's the experience that really, is what they focus on.
Entertainment industry, by the way, like no need, just PA.
Yeah.
PA from the jump.
Yeah, you learn.
And learn it all from the upswing.
I heard an accounting college will really get you.
For sure. Get you
far.
Get your career in hidden camera.
Get you
for
a
sure.
career.
All right, Jake.
All right, this one it's anonymous.
Ooh,
Anonymous.
This one gets salty.
I
Here.
feel
This
like
one-
we need a sound effect.
Nice little mystery.
Anonymous. We haven't got one yet that's
Really?
anonymous. Okay, so
I was in this
Anonymous
alleyway.
asks, I've been estranged from my family for the past 2 years-ish. My parents are very conservative Catholics, and I was kicked out in early 2022 because I came out as a lesbian. I thought I had basically accepted the situation for what it was and just focused on myself and education.
Is this Rebel Wilson?
Recently, I graduated with an engineering degree and got accepted into 2 top PhD programs in my field.
Nice.
So how can I overcome the desire for external validation and love, specifically from a parent? How can I fill that void in my life from my parents' rejection that they caused? Thank you for being the coolest moms ever.
See, they get heavy.
Anonymous.
They get heavy. That's deep.
Yeah, that
I
is
would
deep.
say, have you tried liking men? Because
They have camps for
if you
this.
try that, we should send you to a camp. We can send you a link. No, I would say, first of all, you should be congratulating yourself for taking the leap and doing what you did. That's unbelievable power. Taking the power of that, the just not knowing how it's going to pan out, and to come to such a level and make that happen. That's kudos to you. Round of applause for the moms for you there. So if you need a validation, there it is. I think you've already done it. I do get the idea about the love. We all want to make our parents. That's innate in humans. But sometimes your parents don't deserve that love if they don't accept who you are. And that's the hardest pill to swallow.
Sometimes it takes time, though, too.
Yeah, sure.
Right? There's, where you're at in the world, but sometimes it takes somebody else, a little bit to catch up.
They play catch up.
So I think you obviously unbelievable to have been accepted in 2 different programs, right?
PhD
That's-
programs,
Yeah, you're on your way. So professionally and independently, it sounds like she's definitely on her way to doing exactly what she needs to do to provide a great background for herself and a profession for herself. And I think via that, as you get older, bring your parents back in the fold.
For sure.
Yeah.
Checking in's fine, but you can't make people love you.
Yes.
But
Why'd you look at me like that?
Checking in because I didn't want to say anything.
I'm sorry. I just
We have a guest.
I got it.
I got it.
I get it, guys. I get it. I know where you're going.
Yeah, I would say that's my 2 cents.
It is sad though too because she's taking this as her burden,
Right.
and it's actually her parents' burden.
Yes.
And that's the hardest part is you can't change spots, as they say, or whatever. It's like,
Right.
but it's her parents. Like it's like that's your child. You have kids. It's
Yeah.
like that's the most important thing. Like you accept them for who they are and whatever it is.
100%. Like, I don't care. My kids are right over in the other office. I don't care if my
In a
son grows up.
soundproof-
Soundproof, yeah. I don't care if he grows up and he becomes cisgender and marries an individual that is transitioned from another sex into whatever sex that individual is now attracted to, and they get married under the banner of a Catholic church, as long as they're the same race, I don't care.
I was waiting for it. I was waiting for that. There it is. Pow! And I couldn't agree more.
My shot.
Yeah, no, I do think that's a very good point my friend here makes about it being not your burden to carry, but it's all, so I think you're right too. It does take people time to change, especially if they're so hardcore in their beliefs.
Right.
And when they realize their beliefs are wrong, then you'll be there.
Yeah.
To laugh at them.
Or give them tickets to your show.
No, that's right.
This one's
Wait, we gotta give you a point to come in, Jiggy. We gotta give you a clean point because there was a camera issue and we don't want everybody to know that. Let's leave it in. Go ahead, Jiggy.
okay. Last question.
Falling off of that one over there.
Last question.
Teresa hits us up on the Instagram account. She's got a toddler. She got a toddler that's 3.
On Instagram, what are we, Jiggy?
Two Cool Moms Pod.
There you go. There you go. Okay.
She's got a toddler. She's got a toddler that's 3. She takes the toddler to the store. Any advice on how to handle the kids in the store? She hates sitting in the cart and loves walking around with mommy. So she wants to hear from her 2 cool moms how to handle kids in the store.
Gotcha. That's always that gives a lot of people anxiety. I am on the team, especially like when I see people come on a plane with a kid or they're with a kid. I'm like, they have a kid. That's it. I think a lot of it is put out by people on themselves, and they're like, just let your kid. If your kid wants to walk around, let your kid walk around with you. Just make sure you know where they go. Put one of those weird leashes on them. You know what I mean? Some people have those harpoons. You see them at Disney all the time. Some kid will walk around like he's trying to escape Shawshank and have like clanged up.
I'm Asian, so we just blow dart with.
Timmy's getting too far. Ninja. Mommy, look. Yeah, so I would do I would. You're gonna expend more energy fighting what a kid wants to do. And the result at the end is like, because you think they have to be in the cart. But if I always try to take a step back and be like, why? Why are you having this fight? Because you think your kid should be in the cart? Your kid clearly doesn't want to be. Put the food in the cart. Yeah. Like I'm just, as long as the kid's safe and whatever, I think you expend a lot of energy as a parent trying to make it the way you think it should be instead of the way it's easiest for everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Or make it a game.
Yeah.
If whatever you need, those kids at that age, my son, I know. First of all, I'm like, don't you like riding at the front of the cart? So he'd stand on the front of the cart till he'd always put his foot down. I'd run him over and it's like, oh, it's too much.
Yeah.
But whatever you need, like I'm going to need this. So maybe have them go, could you find me this? And so it makes them feel like they're being grown up and they're doing something. And kind of keeps them around to like, oh, I got to be here because dad might need this or he might need this.
Yeah, I think if you can be inclusive, and make them part of the process. But I think also when you're out in public, you always feel like this inhibition of like insecurity, like, I don't want to bother anybody. But every time I'm at the airport and I see a parent and their kids are running around, it's like, I totally get it. Let them burn it all off because they're going to be confined for like 4 hours. So I think you have that free license. But then we have friends like
Steve walks over, is like, give me your kid. I'll help you. Are you flying today, sir?
No. But I don't say I'm Steve Byrne. I say, hi, I'm Kevin Spacey. Can I watch a young
Asian
boy?
Kevin Spacey.
Asian Kevin Spacey. Yeah.
I think you're right though, because there's nothing feels better as a parent, especially in those younger years. Our kids are a little bit older now, so we got past a lot of it. But like the 2 and the whatever, when your kid is just they're horrendous humans. Yeah. And you're like, and somebody just comes over and is like, I got you, pal. Like just a look of a dad from across, a dad in the trenches together and stuff like that.
But there's also a difference between single people or people with no kids and people with kids.
For sure.
Because I was there back in the day. You see a kid or you see, I'm going on a plane. This baby's going to cry.
Yeah. Put your kid in the cart once you're running around the grocery store.
Now that you're a parent, you're like, oh, man. I got you, bro. I got you. Whatever you need. I'll trip him if he starts running this way.
Did he get away?
Because when when you see those glares too, you're like, you're a dog parent, aren't you?
You're a parent with a dog.
You're a parent with a pet.
But you see that stress. Yeah. You see the frustration. Just like, I totally get it. You totally remember those years. And it's when you're in the thick of it and you're in the trenches, like, God, it's the worst. But remove from it because every year is different, right? Every year a kid, those first 3 or 4 though, the first 2 especially.
Yeah.
God bless the women.
Because they're
Yeah,
too
God bless
dumb
the
to
moms.
know what they're running away from.
Right. or into.
They're still like, yeah, what is this? What does this do, Dad, on the plane? You're like, no, stay away from
Look at this life vest.
And how many times do you see these moms, like, if you're on the plane, you see a mom come with like 4 kids and she's got them wrangled and you're just like, wow.
Yeah.
Like superhero right there. How do you do that?
Sure.
Totally wrangling them, all under control. But then the minute they come in, just put in the iPads and everybody just goodbye.
Yeah. So I would say to our friends that you should probably try to make it the least stressful for both you and your child and keep the kids safe. And then that's going to be the easiest way to be out in public with the kid. That's my point.
And if you see Steve, don't let your kid in.
Don't let it right here. You're going to get hit with a blow dart. All right. Well, that's it. This was great. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you so much for coming by. And again, everybody can keep up with you at your podcast.
Yep, name drop. Or the Pop 2000 tour, whatever. If I'm in town.
Pop 2000 tour, though, because I remember you had posted something, and I was at the airport in Nashville, and I saw the guy from LFO walking by. And I was like, oh my God, because Summer Girls, Owen Benjamin and I would play. We'd be on tour in Sullivan's Son, and that was the song we'd play all the time in the car to just goof, and we'd just rap. And Roy Wood Jr., the Black on the Daily Show, hated that song. So we'd play it all the time.
Just to mess with him.
Yeah. And so I would watch the video all the time, and I was like, oh my God, that's the dude from LFO.
Yeah.
So you toured, though, with other members of boy bands. Is that the purpose of it?
Yeah,
and who
well,
is it?
it's basically, it's kind of boy bandish, but it's like Ryan Cabrera is on it. We have BB Mac. We had O-Town, LFO, myself. We had Smash Mouth. We have Mark McGrath from Sugar Ray.
Right.
So I kind of look at it more as like that old TRL
collection
type of thing.
Yeah.
It's like a mini festival almost.
Yeah, everything random you get. It's like, who's number one today? Oh, is it going to be BB Mac? Is it O-Town?
Right.
What is it? So it's fun. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
And if you're, you would, that's one of those things you go to and you would be like, oh my God, I know every single song here.
Yeah, I know all the songs.
Yeah.
This was it was like right down memory lane.
Yeah.
You guys look so pretty good for being old and type of thing. Yeah.
He broke his hand trying to do a backflip, I heard.
Well, thank you again. Name drop. And then the name of the tour again is?
Pop 2000.
Pop 2000. Thank you so much for being here today.
Love it.
Joe,
Thanks for having
you're
me.
the best.
You know what? Yeah, thank you, Steve. I agree. You are great too.
And we had 3 cool moms today.
Yes, 3 cool moms today. All right. Thanks for listening.
These mommies love you, so show us some love.
Please rate us and review us, follow us on all social media, and subscribe to our YouTube.